Eric, after everything, after short off season and COVID and testing and injuries and ups and downs and play-in and all this other stuff, what's it mean to know that you've checked the first box?
Uh, yeah, it does mean something. We don't want to just, act like it's nothing. It's not everything. It's not ultimately what we want. But I think, our group has approached everything that's been thrown at us, with the right mindset. There have been a lot of ups and downs and um, different experiences that I think we've used to develop some grit, with this group. And so it's the first box that we want to check. Um, and obviously we want to keep on going, but this first step is important. And I think these last few weeks have been really good for our team. The level of competition has gone up around the league, and it's just kind of sharpened our sword or given us opportunities to get better.
You talk about the grit, the adversity, to do it tonight, obviously not having Jimmy for the second half. Obviously, you'd prefer to have him, it goes without saying, but
yeah,
that's just kind of a microcosm of the season that a curveball is going to be thrown at this team kind of no matter what.
yeah, like there's just been so many things that have come our way, and that's pretty true for virtually every team in the league. This year, that we developed that mindset that we're not going to make excuses, and you just focus on the task at hand, and that's what our guys did. Nobody put their head down, and we've had a lot of time without a lot of our guys, including Jimmy, just last week. So the guys really responded in a great way, and the vibe and the energy of the group in the second half was terrific.
Thank you, Eric.
Next, we go to Ira Winderman.
Eric, continuing off of Tim's thoughts there, Jimmy obviously is a closer. Games get close, games get tight. Everyone turns to Jimmy. How heartening is it to see that so many other guys stepped up, whether it was Duncan with 13 points in the third, Goran with 14 in the fourth, K. Nunn playing to the finish, Bam dominating in the middle, that for as much as it's great to have Jimmy, that there are other guys, and as you showed tonight, sort of other closers.
Yeah, and that's who we are. We're at our best, when we have a lot of guys in rhythm, with confidence, helping each other, generate good looks. The more guys we have as true viable weapons, the better it is for our team. And I think that what was really important in the second half, a bunch of guys stepped up, but Bam really anchored us in a lot of ways that Jimmy normally does. The ball was going through him, usually to start whatever action we were getting to, and then other guys, stepped up, made a bunch of plays from there. Tyler, Goran, Duncan were all, and Kanan were all terrific in that second half.
And then could you please fill us in on Jimmy? They even showed on TV Jimmy walking over to you, showing that he couldn't see or that he was having vision problems. What was that process like?
It's not, from the concussion, it's more like getting smacked in the eye. And so, all of that. He was warming up and with a ball in the locker room to start the fourth quarter, gearing up, getting ready to play. But I thought it was really good for our team to be able to finish the game, and have to do it in a different way, than we did the other night when Jimmy was so spectacular in the fourth quarter.
Will Jimmy be subjected to any concussion protocols that you know
Not
of?
that I know of, but I'll find out.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Will Manso.
Hey, Spo, there's always the thought that you want to be peaking into the playoffs. And this team, as you just referenced the last couple of weeks, showing a lot of good signs. How close are you to being where you want this team to be as you head toward these final three games in the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's not like, you arrive or you feel like you've arrived. This is just a never-ending process, until the season ends. So we're trending in the right direction. Guys are feeling, good about, where we're going, but that doesn't guarantee anything on a night-to-night basis. You know, our health has started to come around too. That always helps. But I think, you know, developing those habits of not making excuses during the course of a season where a lot has been thrown at us, I think was really important.
Next, we'll go to Anthony Chang.
Baseball. Tyler's dealt with some things this season, whether it's injuries or just up and down play. But, you know, ever since he's come back from the injuries, really played well, especially offensively, and he's making a lot of shots. But aside from just making shots, what have you liked about how he's played in these 3 games since returning from the foot issue?
Well, you know, I think the whole season has been really good for Tyler to experience this. His rookie season was not typical, you know, for most young players. And, you know, I say this even now, look at all the rookies this year. There have been a lot of up and down moments for, you know, virtually or the majority of them. And that's a typical season for a young player. And then you have to learn the league, you know, face adversity, you know, respond to up and down opportunities and play and competition, all of that. You know, and for the most part, everything was smooth sailing last year. This year, you know, he's had to deal with a bunch of different things, including, you know, minor nagging injuries, you know, storylines that are different, a role that's a little bit different. I think he just always approaches it, you know, the right way. He comes in trying to get better, trying to make improvements to be better for the team and to impact winning. And it hasn't been just about whether he's scoring or not. I think that's you know, always the challenge for young players is everybody wants just to see what that your final line is in the scoreboard. But we're developing him, you know, as a complete player to learn how to win, to impact winning, and he's come a long way. And I think it's been a large part because of his mindset and approach to everything.
Thank you, Spo.
Next, we go to Cooper Moorhead.
Spo, you mentioned things running through BAM a lot tonight. You know, with the league getting somewhat of a handle on some of what was his bread and butter, you know, offensive actions last year, how do you think he's handled the adjustments offensively that have had to happen around him, not just through him?
In what way? What do you mean?
Like working the ball through the post and having to run different actions through him.
Yeah, you know, I think it's just a slight adjustment. You know, he spent a lot of his time at the elbow and high post area, you know, and last year and the year before. This is just getting him a little bit lower, and then we're continuing to put him in both spots. So this is just part of his constant evolution to take on more responsibilities. And as teams scout and adapt to us, we have to continually evolve. And he's been a big part of that. His player development and his growth every single year. You can make a case that each year he's improved, you know, equally as much in terms of his overall game. And that could be said, you know, this year as well, coming off of an all-star year.
All right, next we go to Naveen with the Rappler in the Philippines.
Hey coach, mabuhay, congratulations on the win. You
Mabuhay.
got some big games. You got some big games coming up against Philly and Milwaukee, both teams with something to play. Philly lost today. They still haven't secured the #1 seed. Milwaukee's there for #2. And these are 2 teams that you played well against last season, but 2 teams expected to contend for what you guys are aiming for. So how big of a test will it be for you guys, especially that the playoffs are so close now?
Yeah, you know, we'll just focusing on Philly will be enough to keep, you know, our interest and time and focus. And they've been playing, you know, great basketball. They've been arguably the best defensive team in the league and MVP candidate and Embiid. You'll have to get to the film, but it's been hard to not notice, you know, how well they played this year.
And next we'll go to Barry Jackson.
Erik, it's been a sustained 5 good weeks for Nunn. Just how impressed you've been by how he's played, by how Kendrick has played.
Yeah, it's, again, people will only look probably at the scoring, but he's had a lot of good moments this year. And I think, as a basketball player, he's much improved over last year. And that's always the hard thing, people will just look at, how many points he scored last year and try to compare it to this year, whether has a higher scoring average. He's improved in other areas. Making offensive reads, and as a defender, he's much better. And that's all we care about. He's really stepped up and given us meaningful minutes and impactful winning minutes.
All right, coach, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.